Hi everyone, and welcome to our next GL assessment homework review video. This video is going to concentrate on Year 5, Block 6, and it's going to focus on the Week 1, Lesson 1 content. So we're looking forward to going through this video with you. Let me just bring up the slides just so we can see what we're going to be concentrating on. So there's just clarification of what this video is going to cover. So we're looking at the Week 1 tasks that were set for GL assessment, Block 6, and you're hopefully in Year 5 if you're watching this. Let's have a look at the next slide. The next slide just shows you the homework overview, just so you're clear about what this video is going to cover. So we're going to be looking at the Schofield and Sims Rapid Reasoning Tests Verbal Reasoning book, and we're going to be looking at 3 separate tests. We're going to be looking at Section 1, Test 4 on page 7. We're also going to look at Section 1, Test 5, page 8. And we're also going to do the test on page 9, which is test 6. So 3 consecutive tests, 4, 5 and 6 on pages 7, 8 and 9. So hopefully you've got that book ready to go and you've completed your homework. If you were able to do the You Could, brilliant. But if we can ask you to mark those yourselves, the answers of course are in your book for your parents to check for you and see how you've got on. Just going to bring Billy up just so it's easier for you to focus, and we're going to start now working through those tests. So first of all, we're going to look at section 1, and we're going to be looking at test 4 on page 7. Page 7. So if you haven't done your homework already, then obviously I would pause the video at this stage and then you can work through the test, and then afterwards you can check through and see how you got on. So let's have a look at the first part of this test, and you've got 10 minutes it says, but you may remember from our lesson we talked about trying to do it slightly quicker. So what I would probably suggest, a bit like how we did it in the lesson, I would try 8 minutes on this one, see if you can complete all of the 16 questions in the 8 minutes. That therefore gives you 30 seconds per question to try and get down through. So what's the first section all about? Well, we've got to underline the pair of words that are most opposite in meaning. So remember, you're doing opposites here and you're looking for 2 words that are opposite in meaning. So let's have a little look, see if we can see the answers for the first one. So the first set of answers are conceal and show. So if you conceal something, you kind of hide it, and you show, you reveal it. So those are opposites. Number 2, we've got temporary and permanent. Often talk about accommodation as being temporary sometimes, and permanent means you're doing it all, or you're living there all the time. So temporary, you're not doing something all the time, but permanent is something that you do all the time. So those are opposites. Number 3, we've got descent and ascent. Those, of course, are opposite. Descent to go down, ascent to go up. And then number 4, we've got condemn and praise. I've had that word a few times over the last few weeks, condemn. Condemn is when you aren't very complimentary, whereas when you praise someone, you're saying, yes, you've done that well. Number 5, we've got assemble and disband. Assemble, you put it together. Disband, you take it apart. Often talk about pop groups disbanding, in other words, coming apart and doing their own thing. Right, let's have a look at the next section. Find one missing letter that completes both pairs of words. Write it on the line. But we are looking at the same letter that needs to finish the first word, start the second. So let's go through what these were. So on number 6, we've got R for raw, red, floor and real. Number 7, we're going to insert a T for sight, twist, start and trap. I think certainly looking at the W-I-S-T, there aren't many letters that would go in front of that. So maybe always focus on the letter strings that are the most unusual, I think. I think this one's fairly obvious, particularly looking at that one. We should know that as school, lamb, steal and lost. So we need an L in there. This one we've got steep, pass, skip and pray. And then number 10, we're looking at S for sword, class, miss and swim. So as we go down through, hopefully you are able to give these a tick. The one advantage, and we have talked about this before, of having a multiple choice sheet in your exam is what you can do is you can slot in the letters until one of them works. That's how we would suggest you do these. Right, let's move on to the next part. Now, these are what we call letter analogies. So just looking very carefully at these, just remembering the rules that we've learnt over the weeks in terms of how we do these. So we always talk about going from the first letter of each pair. So let's have a little look and see what we've got here. So we've got M to Q. So let's see what M to Q would be. 1, 2, 3, 4. So plus 4 on that first letter. So let's get S and plus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first letter required here is W. Now if we do the second letter, and if I do that in a different colour, W to C, and then we'll work out what that jump is. Now as it's W to C, what we're not going to be doing is going from here all the way back to here again. That's far too big a jump. But you may remember I talked about adding on a little bit extra of the alphabet onto the end, just to make that jump clearer. So we're going to go from W to C. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're actually adding 6 on. Okay. So if we get to U and we add on 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we get A. So the first jump was plus 4 for the first letter. And then to achieve the second letter, we obviously added on 6. So hopefully that makes that one clear. So WA was the answer. Now I'm just going to remove my jottings just so it's clearer then to work out the next question. But I will just write back on here WA so you can check that one. Right, we're going to go from G to B. So we're going to go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's minus 5 there. So find C, minus 5. So I'm going to go back to this bit of the alphabet here. Again, when it starts to get messy, and certainly in your exams, we would encourage you to do this. Just get your rubber really quickly. Just rub it out just so it's clear. So we're going to go from C and we're going back 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first letter is going to be X. And then we're going to look at the second letter. And we're going to go from K to H. And what's K to H? It's 1, 2, 3. So that's minus 3 this time. So it's not the same. So that's why it's so important you check both letters. N minus 3. 1, 2, 3. We get K. So the answer is XK. Let's move on now to the next set of analogies. We're going to go from L to R. Let's find L. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 forward. So I'm going to write plus 6 there so I'm clear. V plus 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, advantage there just to add on a bit of the extra alphabet, but we do get B as the first letter. Now on the second letter, we're going to go from I to G. So 1, 2 backwards, so minus 2. Then if we get D, go backwards 2, 1, 2, I get B, so it's BB. Now interestingly on this next one, I'll just record in those answers again just so you've got them. So I didn't mean to rub those out. So we've got WA, XK, and then BB, and then we're on the last one here. Now interestingly here, and some of you may have spotted this straight away, J to Q is actually what we call mirrored. So if we find J, find Q, they are mirrored letters. And we've got CX, and they are also mirrored. So if we were to divide the alphabet in half, these are mirrored letters. So we're looking for the mirror of G, and the mirrored letter there is T. We say great tigers for that one. So we're looking for the mirrored letter then of M, and we say muddy newts because it's MN. So they are mirrored letters and they are T and N. Now if you don't know the mirrored code, we would ask you to learn your mirrored letters, try and learn them off by heart. You're looking at 13 pairs that you need to learn, and these are really important because there's probably going to be one question that might require that knowledge. Right, let's go and have a look at the next question. These are wordy problems. So Ethel baked a dozen cupcakes for the village fete. Half the cakes had pink icing and half had blue icing. 2 of the cakes with blue icing and 3 of the cakes with pink icing had a cherry on top. The rest of the pink cakes and 1 of the blue cakes had chocolate sprinkles on. Cakes without cherries on top were in white cases and the rest were in green cases. How many cakes were in white cases? Now there's a lot of information there. So probably what we would suggest here, and there's probably just enough room to do this, we're actually just going to draw out the 12 cakes really quickly. So we're just going to quickly just do them as circles. Nothing particularly neat about them. So I'm just going to draw 6 cakes. So we've got our 6 cupcakes. That's the dozen. I'm sure you all knew that 12 was a dozen. Half the cakes had pink icing. So we'll make these ones the pink ones, and we're going to make these ones the blue ones. So I've dealt with that piece of information. Half a pink, half a blue. 2 of the cakes with blue icing. So we've got 2 here. And 3 of the cakes with pink icing have a cherry on top. So I'm just going to do a little code here. I'm just going to put a C underneath. I haven't got very long to do this. And remember, the reason I'm not colouring any of them in, of course, is because you wouldn't have that in your exam. So you couldn't get out your colouring pencils, unfortunately. So 2 cakes with blue icing and 3 cakes with pink icing had a cherry on top. So I've dealt with that bit of information. The rest of the pink cases and 1 of the blue cases had chocolate sprinkles. So I'm just going to do CH for chocolate. So CH, and there's only 1 blue chocolate. So again, dealt with that piece of information there. The cases without cherries, so we're looking at these 3 here. The cakes without cherries, so the 3 here, the pink ones, and also the 4 over here, the blue ones, they were in white cases and the rest were in green cases. How many cakes were in white cases? Well, as I just said, we've got 3 here from the pink that don't have cherries on. So rule out those ones. And we've also got 2 here. So there's 4 left over. So it's basically 3 plus 4. So the answer is 7. I hope that made sense. And I hope my diagram helped as well, just to quickly identify that information. You obviously haven't got very long to answer that. Yumiko collects animal stickers. She has 30 cake stickers, 15 horse stickers, 19 dog stickers, and 11 rabbit stickers. 1/3 of the horse stickers are round and the rest are square. 1/5 of the cat stickers are square and the rest are round. All the dog stickers are square. All the rabbit stickers are round. What proportion of all the stickers are round? So I think the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to do a little bit of adding up to understand how many stickers we've got all together. And there is quite a quick way that we can work out what Yumiko's total is. If we get, for example, the 19 and the 11, add those together, that makes 30. 30 and 30 is 60, so I can rule out that one. And then we've got 15 here. So the total of stickers altogether, and that's going to be quite an important number, is 75. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work through. Remember, we're looking for the proportion that are round. So that's going to be important. 1/3 of the horse stickers are round. So if we have a look at that first, we've got 15 horse stickers. So if there's 1/3, that gives me 5 that are rounded. So again, useful just to rule out that information. I've done it, so I don't do it again. The fact that the rest are square doesn't matter. 1/5 of the cat stickers are square. Okay, so if we take 1/5, 1/5 of 30 is 6, and the rest are round. So if we do 30 take away 6, we get 24. So there's 24 rounded cat stickers. All the dog stickers are square, so we don't actually need to worry about that at all. We can rule that out. And in actual fact, I've made a little error there, I think, because I should have done 1/5 of 30, which would have given me 6. Is that correct? Oh no, sorry, that was correct. I was right in doing that. There should have been 24. That was absolutely right. And then all the rabbit stickers are rounded. So we're correct there. Sorry, just confusing things. So we've got 5, 24 and 11. If we add those all up together, we get 40. So that was correct. So we've got 40 out of 75, and we need to work out what proportion that is. Now, if you simplify this fraction down, what I would look at, because they end in a 0 and a 5, I'm actually going to divide it by 5, and then I'm going to be able to simplify it down. So 5s into 40 goes 8, and then 5s into 75 goes 15. So it's 8 out of 15, or 8/15ths if you like. So hopefully you managed to get that one right, and the answer then would be 8 out of 15, or you don't have to simplify it, you might have kept it as 40 out of 75. Right, let's move on to the next test. And the next test here was section 1, test 5, and we're looking at page 8. So it's the next test in your book. Find the 4-letter word hidden across 2 or more consecutive words in each sentence. The order of the letters must stay the same. Underline the word and write it on the line. These are always really good fun. We like finding hidden 4-letter words. So let's see if we can find out where they are. So in the first sentence, you don't need to read the sentence. We've got shop. So I'm just going to write that down on the line, so at least you've got it then. Then we're going to have a look at question 2, and we've got boat. So I'm just going to underline that. So we've got boat here. And then let's have a look at number 3. What 4-letter word is hidden here? We've got deep. There's deep. So the combination of letters there would have been 2 letters and 2 letters, 2 letters and 2 letters there, and then we've got 2 and 2. So again, taking 2 letters from each side. And then if we have a look at 4, we've actually got to go across 3 words, which is unusual, but you sometimes have to do that, and that gives you pint. If we look at question 5, the little boy was accidentally shut in the cupboard. So what are we looking at? Again, let's see if we can find the 4-letter word. I didn't really need to read it through. Tint. Here we go. T-I-N-T. And a tint, if you didn't know what tint meant, it's like a shade. Good word for your word of meaning, but that one. It's like a hue or a shade. Okay, let's have a look at the next question type. We have done these before. Underline the 2 words in each row that contain all the same letters. So let's see if we can work these ones out. So we've got pails. So I always start with the first word, and then it's worth sort of looking across. In actual fact, these are really close together. Peels and pails, they both have the same letters. We can rule out that one. Rule out that one. Rule out that one. So it's always looking for the letters that are the same. And this one we've got cares and races. They again are next to each other. So we can see this one's got 2 S's, so we knew that wasn't right. This one's got a T in it, so we know there's no other word with a T. And this one has got a D in it. So again, we know that's wrong. So if there's ever one letter that appears in just one word, then you know to rule that one out. 8 is times an item. So we've got times and then items. That's the answer there. So again, if you look very carefully, there's no L in those 2 words, so we can rule that one out. There's no M. Oh, there's an M in items, but we can see those letters aren't the same because we've got an L in miles. And then we know that the answer isn't tries. So we can rule that one out. 9, we've got coast and coats. Just swapping the S and the T over. That's got 2 T's in it, stout. And then we've got CR. There's a U here. I know there's a U there in stump, but there's obviously 2 T's, so we could rule that one out. And we can also rule out cross. So yes, once you've found them, you don't necessarily need to eliminate the others. Once you're confident that the same letters are being used. And 10, we've got stare and rates. So it's not that one, it's got an O. Come on, that one with the I, and it's not stars, because obviously it's got 2 S's. Right, well done on those. If you managed to spot those quickly, again, don't need to waste time eliminating. It's just a case of just showing you why it wasn't the other ones. So well done if you've made a good start on this particular test. And sorry, I should have said at the beginning, hopefully you timed yourself for roughly 8 minutes again. Just trying to, I don't think you need 10 minutes. I think that's a bit too long for you now. At this stage, I think you should be saying 8 minutes to get through your tests. Right, let's have a look at the middle number questions. These are always quite good fun. So let's have a look and see if we can work out the answer to these ones. So we're looking for the middle number. So we used to talk, when we talked about these in our block 5, we talked about sort of thinking about it a little bit algebraically. So if you think about the 2 numbers on the outside as kind of A and B, and it's what we're doing to A and B to make sort of C in the middle. Okay, so representing that as C. And these ones are quite simple. This one is A times B, and you might have noticed, of course, they're squared numbers. and that will give you C. So if I do 5 times 5, I'm going to get 25 in the middle. On 12, same again, we're going to do A times B to achieve C in the middle. So this again, quite simple. If we do 4 times 52, we get 208. Hopefully you were able to work that one out. And then 25, remember we've got to think about possibly doing different operations. And this time we're going to do A divided by B to give us the middle number. And so we're going to do 100 divided by 4. We should all be able to work that out. 25. You can always check with the inverse. So 4 25s are 100. And then we've got A divided by B again to give us the middle number. And in this instance, we're going to do 360 divided by 2 to give us 180. Obviously, we would have checked that that works on here as well. And of course, that's how we work the rule out. So 64 divided by 2 is 32. Then 108 divided by 2 gives us 54. So well done if you managed to get that right. Right, let's have a look at the next one. How many more days are there altogether in March, April, May, June and July? Now, hopefully you know how many days there are in all of these different months. So what you're going to need to do here, you're going to need to do a little bit of adding up. So if we look at March, there are 31. April, there are 30. May, there's 31. June, there's 30. July, there's 31. So if we just add these up very, very quickly, we've got 92 and we've got 61. So if we find the difference between those, you can probably just do this in your head. There are 31 days. So that's the answer. 31. Now this is always these are always quite tricky, some of these questions, but I quite enjoy them. They're quite good fun to work out. They're a bit more like a riddle, really. If the day after tomorrow is Friday, what was the day before yesterday? So if the day after tomorrow is Friday, so what we know then, let's just do the months, or the days rather, of the week, just so we've got that laid out clearly, and it'll be easier to explain, I think. So I'm not going to do Saturday and Sunday because we don't need those 2 days, but if I just do the weekdays. So if the day after tomorrow is Friday, so this is the day we're on. If the day after tomorrow, so tomorrow will be Thursday, will be Friday, what was the day before yesterday? Well, yesterday was Tuesday, so the day before Tuesday was Monday. So the answer is Monday. Now sometimes, just so it's clearer in your head, you might find it easier just to actually put the days out, just to get it really clear in your mind. Some of you might be able to do that in your head though. Well done if you've got those two correct. Let's move on now to the last test, which is going to be section 1, test 6, and you're looking now at page 9. So these first set of questions that you're going to be doing are going to be finding the missing 3-letter word. Just a reminder again though, we would time yourself for 8 minutes. Try and see if you can do it in 8 minutes for these particular tests. Remember, we are focusing very much on time management and trying to work through questions as quickly as we can, but as accurately as we can as well. So number 1, we've got lot, because of course it's clothes. So he found old something to wear in the attic. So it's clothes. So if you spell out clothes, cross out the letters they gave you, you're left with lot. And then if we look at the next one, we've got he something the floor to make it clean. What would you have to do to the floor to make it clean? Well, this word is scrubbed. Now if you write out the word scrubbed, so giving it 2 B's, and you cross out the letters it gave you, S, C, B, E, D, you're left with the word rub. So the answer is rub. Remember, those letters will always be consecutive. The something dog had no home. Well, if it's a dog that has no home to go to, it's what we describe as a stray dog. So if we write down how to spell stray, and we cross out the letters I was given, I'm left with Ray. So I know that that's right. Number 4, the horse something round the field. Now, if you know the paces that horses can go at, they can gallop, they can canter, they can walk, but this is the sort of after the walking, we'd say that they've trotted. And if we cross out the letters that we were given the T. Then we were given, let's make sure we're getting this right. Then we were given another T and an E and a D. So we're left with rot. Just making sure that I cross out the right letters there. And then the last one, he's something many of the answers to the quiz. Well, if he knows them, so knows, but it's actually knew that we need there. So he knew many of the answers to the quiz. So well done if you managed to get that one right. Let's have a look at the next section. These are compound words. So we're choosing one word from the first set and another word from the second set, and make sure that they are two words together, not hyphenated words. Okay, they need to be two words stuck together to make one. So we've got overhaul, headache. Number 8, we've got method. Let's go on to the next page. Number 9, we've got primate. And number 10, we've got poppies. Balanced equations, we're always very good at these. So the first one, 90 divided by 9 gives me 10. So I've got to make 10 on the other side. But the answer I need is 5. 21 times 3 gives me 63. So I've got to make sure that I make 63 on the other side. So 100 take away 37 gives me 63. 49 take away 17. So again, if you're not quite sure about how to do that one, you could do a little bit of a subtraction method if you can't do it in your head. Okay, and you get 32. So we need to make 32 on the other side, and we're going to have 8. So 4 times 8 is 32. 99 divided by 11, should be able to work that out as 9. And then we need to make 9 on the other side. So we're going to do 18 divided by 2 gives me 9, so it was 2 was the answer. So if you go down through, give those a tick. Well done if you got all those right. Right, let's have a look at the next question. Now I'm actually going to rub out some of my jottings here because I just need to make sure I've got a bit of space. Sometimes it can be useful to find a blank bit of space if you need to. 12 cars are parked on Marcel's street. Some of the cars are sports cars, some are saloons, 3 are hatchbacks. There are 3 red cars, 4 blue cars, 2 silver cars, and the rest are black. All the hatchbacks and one of the saloons are blue. The sports cars are either red or black. If both the silver cars and 2 of the red cars are saloons, how many sports cars are there altogether? So there's a lot of information there, and what I would certainly suggest here is don't panic. Think about what would be logical in order to work this out. And sometimes with these kind of questions, it's always best to do a little table. So I'm going to create a little table here, and we're going to do it as we're going to have sports cars, do SC for sports cars, and then we're going to have saloons, and we're going to have hatchbacks. So I'm just creating a very simple little table just to help me sort of collate the information a little bit. Now we know there are 12 cars altogether. So first thing I can do, and I'm also going to go from the information that I'm given, because you're often given information that you can work from. So some of the cars are sports cars, some are saloons, and 3 are hatchbacks. So straight away, I know that there are 3 hatchbacks. If we then move on, there are 3 red cars, 4 blue cars, 2 silver cars, and the rest are black. Well, I can work out from 3, 4, and 2 that there's 9. So in other words, how many black cars are there? There'll be 3 black cars, because I know that I've got 9 already and there are 12 altogether. So that might be useful, it might not be, but certainly when it says the rest are, it's nice to know what that number is. All the hatchbacks and 1 of the saloons are blue. Now that's quite interesting, because that means that there's obviously definitely going to be 1 saloon car, because 3 are blue and 1 is blue as a saloon. So I'm just going to put 1 in there. That might be useful. Sports cars are either red or black. If both the silver cars and 2 of the red cars are saloons, so we've got silver and red are saloons, so both being 2. So that gives me 4 altogether. So I'm going to write 4 in there. Now we've kind of filled in the information that we've got that we can use. So I know I've got 5 saloons, I've got 3 hatchbacks. So sports cars, what am I left with? Well, 5 and 3, of course, is 8. So therefore, I need to make 12. So I've got 4 left over. So the answer, how many sports cars are there? There are 4. So I hope that made sense and how you use that information to fill out the table. And I think a table probably is the easiest approach on that one. So I'm going to just rub out that information, and I'm now going to move on to the last question. Mrs. Cleaver is posting 5 parcels. Parcel 1 is heavier than parcel 3. So parcel 1 is heavier than 3. So I'm just going to write, perhaps I'll read all the information first. Parcel 1 is heavier than parcel 3, but lighter than parcels 4 and 2. Parcel 3 is heavier than parcel 5. If parcel 2 is the heaviest parcel, which is the lightest? So again, always work from what you know. We know that the heaviest one is parcel 2. So I'm going to write 2 down. Parcel 1 is heavier than parcel 3. So I can write 1 and 3. But lighter than parcels 4 and 2. Well, we know 2 is the heaviest. So that means that 4 must come underneath 2. But it is heavier than 1 and 3. The other bit of information that we've got is parcel 3 is heavier than parcel 5. So therefore 5 comes underneath 3. So let's just double check that we've got everything in the right order. We've got parcel 1 is heavier than parcel 3. Yep, that works. So I'm going to get rid of that information. But lighter than parcels 4 and 2. Well, 2 and 4 are above 1 and 3, so I'm happy with that as well. Parcel 3 is heavier than parcel 5. Yeah, parcel 3 is heavier than parcel 5. And if parcel 2 is the heaviest parcel, that obviously goes at the top. And we're asked which is the lightest. So it's the one at the bottom. So that means that it'll be parcel 5. So well done if you got that correct. And I hope you found this video useful to go through. If you were able to do the You Could, congratulations, well done. Be brilliant if you are able to get through those You Could tasks as well. You will need to mark those yourselves, but it'd be brilliant if you can do that little bit extra as well. Guys, well done. You're doing incredibly well. We look forward to seeing you in your next live lesson, and I hope you found this video useful. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.